Denver. So, a woman who gave birth alone in her jail cell in Denver is suing the city after deputies and nurses allegedly ignored her pleas for help during about 5 hours of labor. The federal lawsuit filed Wednesday said the jail's officials cruelly chose convenience over compassion by not calling for an ambulance after Sanchez's water broke and she was bleeding. It says a van was requested to take Sanchez, who was in a medical cell at the time at the jail, to the hospital, but the jail workers knew the ride likely wouldn't be available for hours until the morning booking process was finished, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit says that the nurse dried and warmed the baby and cleared mucus from his mouth for several minutes, and the jail nurses did not have the equipment to cut the baby's umbilical cord. It was served until it wasn't severed until firefighters arrived about 15 minutes after the baby was born. The Denver County Sheriff's Department said Thursday that it had since changed its policy to ensure that pregnant inmates who are in any stage of labor are immediately taken to the hospital. Previously, decisions about whether to move a pregnant inmate were left to jail nurses, but deputies are now authorized to call for an ambulance for someone in labor, department spokeswoman Daria Serena said. So, like, my overall intake on this.
Hold on, before you go, baby. Breaking news: Kevin Hart suffers major injuries after car veers off the road. The car looked pretty jacked up too, people. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to be a side note. Yeah, the car looks totally crashed. Right?
Oh wow, that did look bad. Is he okay?
I don't know, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll get back. But my take on this, like they say, it is good after giving birth that you keep the umbilical cord attached. So I mean, I'm not, disputing anything that happened, because I feel like how they treated her was inhumane, especially for a woman giving labor and she's alone for 5 hours enduring that pain. Just imagine, I gave birth to twins. Luckily, thank God I was asleep during the whole thing, but just like the whole ordeal in the beginning of it was like the absolute worst. Like, the pain was excruciating. I felt the pressure. I was crying. I mean, the whole nine, the bleeding and everything. It'll scare you. Anything could have happened within that time frame. She could have passed out. Something could happen to the baby because she's trying to force this labor, and the umbilical cord. I mean, anything could have happened. Like, Lord forbid that she could have passed away, or even the baby. It's just overall the way that they handle it, and now they're wanting to all of a sudden change it because of this incident. There should have been protocols put in place for women who do go into jail pregnant, irregardless of what their crime and their charge was. They're still bringing a life to this earth. They should still be treated like, as far as protocol.
That's why I want to know what she got arrested for. But you say it shouldn't matter.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she got arrested for murder. It just, overall, she's giving birth. She shouldn't still have to be locked in a cell for 5 long, excruciating hours giving birth alone. Anything can happen with no kind of medical equipment, nothing to help her. Not saying like, oh, you need an epidural or nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, just the overall, that's pain. That's pressure. That's her pushing the baby out into this cold world.
And how they gonna say the jail workers knew the ride likely wouldn't be available for hours? How about you get in your car,
right?
Put the lady in there. You can still have her handcuffs. I mean, people are so desensitized, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever happened to helping people and doing the right thing and doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it?
It's just disgusting. I watched some of the video. You could see the woman on there. She was screaming. She was calling for help. Nobody came. They left her alone in that cell. I mean, that video was horrible.
Really?
Yeah, she looked so horrible. And for the overall, for how it took place and how it happened, Denver got to be better than that.
Yo, I'm pissed. I'm on the phone with the attorney general for my wife like this. Man.
That's sad.
Well, but you know the first thing they're going to try to hit you with, well, sir, she was in jail. Okay, people make mistakes. Take her to the hospital. Stop the madness. Man.
Yeah, because you could see it was saying like in the footage, like she was banging on the sill of the door. She got a thin white mat that was slid underneath the door for her to pretty much lay on, and while she was screaming and begging for help, for pain, and they were just watching her while she was in there screaming, legs wide open, trying to give. I mean, it's just no kind of medical attention, no supervision, no treatments, no nothing. That's inhumane. They sat here and they gave that white, what's that boy name that?
Dylan Roof.
Right, Dylan Roof. They gave him a ride
to Burger
murdering
King.
all of them people in the church and gave him a ride to get some food and then dropped them off to the jail. I mean, come on now. But she's giving birth. No matter what her crime was, she still should have been treated as priority. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody drove to the jail to work in a car. It just don't make any sense to me with all the people that's there. Somebody should have did something.
Boy, you bring up Dylan Roof. I can imagine that conversation in the car. They got him in there. Say, boy, you did good. You got him. The N word, I don't want to say it. You got him. We're going to treat you good. We're going to take you in real quick. Don't worry about it. You need anything on the inside, we got you. Here's the contact. His name's Earl.
And but this lady's charge was for identity theft. I mean, even that.
She probably trying to feed her baby. Yeah.
But no, I mean it's a horrible charge because I was a victim of identity theft myself. But just overall identity theft, and for y'all to treat her to be inhumane such as that, that's just disgusting. They should have definitely had better protocol in place and not all of a sudden place something in place after the fact that this happened. A lot of jails, a lot of cities, a lot of states already have medical protocols put in place for people who come in with cancer, different type of medical issues, disabilities, etc. This should have been protocol. She's screaming for help and you slide a thin mat that can literally fit under the crack of a door. That's again inhumane.
It's funny because I mean not literal funny, but I mean you can't treat people like that, man, and expect that they see some good kind of come out of it. You know what I'm saying? You got to put yourself in the other person's shoes at all times. I mean, like I said, I'm up at the hospital, flip-flops on the phone with everybody I can talk to. I'm at the jail. You know what I'm saying? Because identity theft, what's that, like $100 fine?
But she got 2 years probation.
You know what I'm saying? She got what?
2 years in probation for identity theft. Yep.
For identity theft? That's it.
Okay.
Wow. Well, at least the baby was born healthy, we suppose, but she is suing.
Yeah, he was a boy, 5 pounds, a little under 5 pounds. So yeah, that's pretty good size for a baby. All my babies, there were 9 pounds total. One was 4.4, one was 5.4.
I used to know that by heart, by the way. Hey, listen, side note, before we move on, you know what I'm saying, people, to all my pot smokers out there, unfortunately for you, you don't live in New York. All my pot pushers, because New York marijuana decriminalization law officially goes into effect. New Yorkers are now officially being able to indulge in their marijuana without concern of being criminalized for it. The decriminalization law went into effect on August 28th and will expunge the records of nearly 25,000 individuals, with
awesome.
Some 14,000 coming from New York City's 5 boroughs. The new law also knocks down marijuana possession of under 2 ounces from a criminal offense to a $200 fine. If caught with anything under an ounce, will warrant a $50 fine. Hey, look, boy.
That ain't bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like smoking weed, marijuana, pot, cannabis, whatever you want to call it. It's becoming nothing. Next 20 years, they're going to be trying to decriminalize cocaine. Hold it.
I think that, marijuana should automatically be legal. I mean, because
Oh, really?
no, I mean, I'm dead serious. I think it should be legal. I mean, it's not but grass. I mean, they've been smoking it in the 60s, 70s, hippies, and them fun parts. I just think it should be legal. But, yeah, that's just my take.
Hey, man. Shout out to all my brothers that's in the NYC, the five boroughs. Let me see if I can get this right. Bronx, Staten Island,
What?
Manhattan, Queens. What I got? The Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Manhattan. I'm missing one. Brooklyn. Hey, I can't forget about Brooklyn, man. Hey, now that you mentioned that, Labor Day Parade. You know what I'm talking about? Eastern Parkway. You know what I'm saying? Up there in Brooklyn. I went there back in the day.
Like 5-6 weeks ago.
Hey, man. Shout out to all my people up top, man. I got people up there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look. Hey.
Girls Trip 2019.
Hey, that Labor Day Parade on Eastern Parkway. Yickety.
Anyways, Johnson & Johnson. So a judge in Oklahoma on Monday ruled that Johnson & Johnson had intentionally played down the dangers and oversold the benefits of opioids and ordered it to pay the state $572 million in the first trial of a drug manufacturer for the destruction wrought by prescription painkillers. The amount fell far of the $17 billion judgment that Oklahoma had sought to pay for addiction treatment, drug courts, and other services it said it would need over the next 20 years to repair the damage done by the opioid epidemic. Judge Balkman was harsh in his assessment of a company that has built its reputation as a responsible and family-friendly maker of soaps, baby powder, and Band-Aids. In its ruling, he wrote that Johnson & Johnson had promulgated false, misleading, and dangerous marketing campaigns that have caused exponential increasing rates of addiction, overdose deaths, and babies born exposed to opioids. Okay, so let me go ahead and touch on this because yeah. So my thing is, how is it that they're going after Johnson & Johnson because they made this prescription, but this is the same company, okay, that makes all the baby products and things such as that.
Remember, they said they played it down.
Right, understandable, but that's when the product itself is presented. Like, you would have, like, when I was working in the medical field, you would have these drug companies come in and they will present the drug and they'll tell you what the drug is and how it affect and, you know, what we'll need and how it help their patients. And so it's up to the doctors and the prescribers that give this medication, as they have on the side of the bottles, that'll give you your warnings. Now, just because these people are taking these drugs and they're misusing it, so what's the difference? They're not taking it appropriately. Okay, now you're saying it's an addiction. That's why you get a certain amount of medication. Like let's say when you go to surgery, they say you only can get up to 10 pills, and then after that, they're gonna give you like some dumbed down, like a little
some that don't work,
right? So that you not carrying on with this addiction.
Oh, right.
But there's people that's misusing it. So how is it this company's fault because these people are misusing that product? That's just like when the government had put crack into the projects and they sat there and gave it to all the people. Now all of a sudden it's an opioid crisis. But how are they helping these people with this addiction and these treatments that they're going through? But when you have drug addicts that are the same way crackheads, powder heads and heroin users and meth heads and all of these people that are using these other street made drugs, and they're not getting the same type of help that these opioid crisis people are going through because they're going through overdosing and all of that. I just don't understand. It's not right. And the people who are misusing the drug, they should also be held liable as well, because it's not, I don't care what you say. You can say, oh, it's an addiction. That's not an addiction. That's just your mind. That's a mind thing. That's like people who be popping perks and say they're high. You're not high. That's a mind thing.
They're definitely not high off Percocet.
I mean, perks make me throw up, but I'm just saying, like, in general, I don't understand it. They're like, oh, I could take perks and I'll be up all night and I do this.
You're definitely not.
No, it's a mind thing. That's it.
Stimulated.
And they're misusing these drugs, and all of a sudden it's turned into a crisis because they're deciding to pop 1,000 pills at one time, or they're snorting these pills, or they're injecting these pills, or whatever the case that they're doing. Why hold the company liable? Why don't you hold the people who are selling it to them liable? Hold it to the doctors who are prescribing it liable? Hold it to the people who are taking this drug and overdosing? They should be having to be required to go to a clinic, and at this little detox clinic that they're going to, they're the ones who need to be charged with something because you're misusing it. So where are you getting these drugs from? Where are you getting these pills from? Because you're not getting them from a pharmacy. So where are you getting them from? But when you have this crack epidemic going on, and this heroin epidemic going on, and all these other people who are on these other drugs going on, y'all are not pushing the needle that hard like you're doing for these people just because they're on pills. I don't understand that concept.
Well, they're going to take them and put them in facilities that you don't know about, and they're going to fund those facilities. And
like a jail.
I mean, you know,
and
have a rehabilitation center, and then more pills come through the rehabilitation centers. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. And, you know, but that's just the whole propaganda. Now, they say they ordered to pay $572 million, but imagine how much money they done already made. Trillions of dollars. They done already. That right there is pocket change, and they probably, you know what I'm saying, could backdoor it, and they probably got clause in there where they ain't gonna have to pay that whole $572 million.
Of course not. But I'm just saying in general. Now they're wanting to create this as an epidemic. What about the heroin epidemic and the crack epidemic? Why are they not pushing so hard to help those type of people? Because that is an addiction. Those are addictive drugs. Painkillers, come on, again, that's just a mind thing. If you're misusing them and you're taking them, snorting them, injecting them, inhaling them, chewing them, and losing your teeth, or whatever it is that you're doing, again, I
had surgery on my rotator cuff, and I was on pain medication. You will get addicted to. You'll find yourself like, man, I need this. I need this for the pain. But in actuality, you don't really need it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, hell, they weren't always around.
I gave birth to twins, and I was put to sleep, emergency C-section. They gave me Percocets, and I got sick, and I said, I can't take those. Then they gave me some other painkiller. I can't remember what it was. It was like an oxycodone, similar. No, it was oxycodone, but it was like the generic or whatever. I didn't even take those either because I was like, one, I'm breastfeeding, so I don't care what the doctor tells me, oh, this is not going to affect your child. Yes, it is. Anything that you put in your body, your child is going to be receiving. So I'm not a pill person anyway, but just in general, I don't take any kind of medication. I don't care what it is. I will go through the pain and don't care, and I'd rather suffer through it than take any type of man-made drug that's supposed to help me feel better about myself. I'm not going to do that. I will take it natural.
Oh, babe, you're so strong.
You know that. I am so natural.
Messing with
I don't
you.
do any of that
Boy,
stuff.
shun me in front of everybody. Next time on the Boy Nash Show. Doom, 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 doom.
Whatever. I just think this whole thing is crazy, and it's just another way for the government to
able
to funnel money through the system.
They were suing for $17 billion. That's what I'm saying.
I know that, but I'm just saying in general, there's just another way to funnel money through the system, and they could use it to do other stuff. You know
how black people do it. How much things the baby powder we done brought over the time. Ever since we were little, we've been using baby powder.
Well, yeah, but you know they also had that linked to ovarian cancer and things like that, and then people were suing Johnson & Johnson for that too.
Yeah, I remember.
But when
I didn't know they made soap though.
Yeah, baby soap. I used to buy it for little bars.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I stopped doing that. But I started using organic stuff like Aveeno because they both have eczema, which I think organic is better.
Man, anything that's going to get your body clean, give it to me.
No. That's you. I don't use all type of products. I use mild products on all my babies.
Singing in the shower, smelling Zest Fully Clean. Well, when that first dropped, that Zest, everybody had that ball on them.
Now they're wearing Old Spice with O3 that be laying across the carpet with the bear.
No, I ain't met.
And Axe.
Yeah, Axe pretty decent.
And Old Spice.
That's good for Johnson & Johnson though. Hey, look, Pay that money back. I wish somehow I can get in on the cut. Hey, I done brought baby powder. We done brought soap. We done
Baby
brought
oil.
Band-Aids.
Baby oil.
Y'all lied to us. You misled us. I want my money back 10%. What that is. Hey, look. But we can settle our court right now for $200.
Boy, you gonna go sit down. $200 ain't
We
gonna
say,
take you around the block.
oh, my back. My neck and my back out. But we can settle out the court right now for $20.
Nah, we're good on that.
All right, man.
So
So,
the next.
Moving on to the next.